funky.
Welcome to Cornwall Science Sessions.
Well, good morning. Welcome back, good people. Very glad you could join us again, actually. That's very kind of you to join us. Sam's back in the studio,
Hello.
so that's great. Sam's actually, I'm guessing he's probably a little bit on edge, because I have actually shown him what is coming later in the show.
For some inexplicable reason, Ben has brought another chili into the studio.
Well, this is a very special chili pepper, okay? Because it actually comes from someone we've actually... Well, I mean, we attempted to get him on the show, and by that I mean we phoned him up. He didn't answer.
No.
But here we go. He has agreed to come on the show for realsies to chat about his science very soon, and that is Jared Wilson Agarwal. Now, he's been a very kind man. He knows I'm a fan of chili peppers. He's actually given me... apparently it's a scorpion chili pepper, so I'm kind of worried.
Yeah.
These are fairly strong, and we'll talk a little bit about it later, and possibly, just possibly, we'll force one into Sam's mouth as well. We'll see.
If I'm eating it, Ben's eating it. So.
I mean, I'm in agreement. Actually, it's only fair after your chili taste test,
The challenge.
aka the torturing session. Now, I've actually also got, just whilst we're on the chili peppers, because you must already know how much of a fan. I've actually got some homemade chili sauce here, Sam.
It looks really good, actually, the chili sauce.
Yeah, it's nice. So this was made with... Now, you're not going to believe what it was made with, because when we taste it, it's pretty mild, actually, but it was actually made with Komodo dragon chilies, which for a time was actually the UK's hottest chili.
Okay.
Actually stocked by Tesco for some bizarre reason. Yeah, so they kind of clock in sort of around the same level as scorpion chilies, actually. They're all kind of the same on the Scoville scale. But yeah, these are pretty strong, but... I just give us a taste later. We'll try it in a bit, and I think you're going to be surprised by it. I really do. It's got quite a lot of whiskey in there as well. It's got whiskey. It's got It is still
pre 8 o'clock.
Oh no! Don't. The thing is, it's been simmered for a long time, mate. So don't worry about that. Well, perhaps I shouldn't try any, seeing as I am driving. But,
Yeah, maybe not.
If you give it a try, tell us what we think of it. Okay. Anyway, enough about that. Of course, we. It was just a little jest there. Obviously, it doesn't have alcohol in it. We wouldn't suggest such a silly thing this early in the morning. No. Chilies, yes, fine. Alcohol, no, not yet. Okay, right. Anyway, I'm going to tell you now what we've got on the show, because, well, this is very exciting. Woo! Now, last week I told you that this week I had a major scandal to reveal to you. Scandalous. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. This is good. And I didn't tell you anything about the scandal, actually, but all I did say, I teased you by saying, actually, that a celebrity will be joining us to talk about the scandal. Sam's looking in disbelief.
I'm mind-boggled.
Well, just hang on, Sam. And hang on, dear listeners, because that's on the way. Now, this person who actually going to be talking to you about this great scandal, okay? Sam's still... I don't know why Sam's laughing. This is deadly serious stuff, right? This is a scandal, mate. We don't laugh at scandals.
No.
Okay. It's not a serious scandal, by the way, in case you think I'm being entirely disrespectful here. It's not particularly serious, but it still is a scandal.
It's a scandal.
Well, I don't know, actually. I'm going to leave it to you. Maybe it is deadly serious. Maybe it's the worst scandal that's happened...
Ever.
Yeah.
Bigger than Watergate.
It could have been. I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out. You make your own decision up about that. Anyway, this particular person who's going to join me to talk about this is actually a bit of a TV star. She's a presenter for a show that's been on recently. I'm going to play it first, and then I'll give you time to think about who it is, Sam.
Okay.
You should know. If you don't, you're in deep trouble. And that goes for anyone listening, actually. But, yes, so a very popular TV show that's been on recently. She's a co-host of that, and also actually she's been in Holby City, a suite of other things, and she's also a stand-up comedian. Yeah? Impressed?
Yeah, I'm quite impressed, yeah.
Well, we'll see anyway. I'll introduce that section shortly, and we'll give that a play. See if you can recognise the celeb there. She's awesome. She's really nice to chat to as well. Fantastic person. Then, of course, I've chosen her theme tune. Now, I would say she requested this, but probably that might get me in a bit of trouble, so I'm not going to say that. I did actually choose this one for her. I think it's great. I think she's going to like it if she does happen to catch this. Okay, but that's not all. Okay, so we've got the scandal to reveal to you. Of course, it's you're thinking, but this is a science show, Ben and Sam. So what are you doing? Don't worry, we've got some science for you. Just don't sweat, okay? This
Chill
week,
out.
Exactly. Just take it easy. It's not even 8:00 yet. We can chillax just a little bit. Anyway, we do have some science for you because now this is it's a bit of an old interview now, old but absolutely gold. Okay, this is with we all know Dave Hoskin. Dave's been on the show quite a lot, chatting with Sasha. The two profs. Whenever you've heard the two profs debating, that's been Sasha and Dave. So you know Dave very well. But now this time he's actually joined by Dr. Tom Curry, who will introduce himself very shortly as well. A really great chap, actually, senior lecturer here at the University of Exeter down in the Cornwall campus. So he's pretty awesome, actually, pretty damn awesome. I'm not actually sure who's more awesome, Tom or Dave. You can make that decision. You can make your mind up about that, actually.
Yeah, text in. Tell us.
Yeah, text in, tell us. And I tell you what, if you do tell us this, then I will forward the results to Dave and Tom, and I'm sure they'll be really pleased to hear that from you. Now, as always, because I'm always very thankful for you, dear listeners, tuning in, and which means that you're actually all VIPs. You're all science VIPs. Okay, Sam is in agreement with this.
Yep.
So, and what we say to science VIPs is, bypass everything and text me direct. Okay. This is the science VIP line, okay? And that number, probably better check my number actually, not really. Okay, here it is. 07860, okay? That's 07860. Then you've got 670. Then you've got 917, okay? So altogether, that's 07860 670 917. Sam, what was that?
That is 07860 670 917.
Oh, yeah, impressive. Very good. Memory trial complete for the morning. Right, okay, anyway, give me a text. After the section plays, or before, if you've got a feeling, sometimes you just got a feeling, even just with the name. If you tell me who's cooler, Dave or Tom, that's Dr. Tom Curry versus Prof. Dave Hoskin, then just text in and let me know, okay? This will be interesting. Right, okay, and obviously we're going to have to deal with the academics' music requests. We always have to deal with that. It's fairly irritating, but we'll get that out of the way as soon as we can when we play that section. So we'll get that.
We have some shockers on today.
We really do. We really. Well, I mean, Sam was saying, mate, no, just don't buy that. So I've actually had to go and buy this song as well because we didn't have it already.
Yeah, 99p.
99p. This is the worst 99p I've ever spent. But anyway, fine, all for you, all for the profs. Okay, anyway, so maybe you can just tune out at that point. I'll give you a warning. You can tune out, tune back in. Right, okay, so that's not it. This is only 2 out of, 4 or 5 sections today. Depending on time, we'll see how we go. But of course, a big announcement today to anybody, any GCSE students waiting for their results, because of course it is GCSE results day.
Very exciting.
So the very best of luck to you from both myself and Sam.
Very good luck.
And we actually do have a bit of a section, kind of on the right lines for this day, okay? Because I actually chatted to a couple of people from a well-known professional services firm. And talking actually about what to do after A-levels. So this is kind of might be kind of helpful for anyone picking up the GCSE results today, thinking about going on to A-levels or whatever the case may be, and thinking about their futures basically. So we'll play that in a bit as well, and I'll introduce those people a bit later. I've actually got. Also with us actually in that interview, we actually have someone who, so a great person actually, just finished up their A-levels and then went straight into work. So didn't go down the more, I guess, the more compressed route currently in schools, I guess, or at least from what she was saying, it seemed to be the case. But she went straight into work actually after doing A level. So we'll hear a bit from her as well. She's going to tell us a little bit about apprenticeships and why she thinks they're good. So we can kind of think about that as well as thinking about degrees and things, keeping our options all open for anybody out there who's listening. Obviously, both myself and Sam did go to uni, but we'll chat about that in a bit anyway. Okay, so we've got that. We've also, however, now this is the very coolest interview that we'll ever play on the show. The very coolest.
Big claim.
This is a big claim, and this is absolutely no disrespect to everybody who's been on the show, because I love you all dearly, but we've actually got a chat with an Olympic gold medalist.
Fair play.
Olympic gold medalist and world champion. Medalist. Olympic gold medalist and a world champion. So, yeah. I mean, you say no more about that one.
We'll have to retire after that interview.
Yes, exactly. So if you hear the sound of the studio doors swinging open and swinging shut again, that's us just leaving after that interview. It's kind of like a mic drop, but I won't drop the mic because it's quite expensive. Instead, we'll just leave the mics, comfortably still in their holsters, and we'll just walk away.
Yeah.
We'll lock up properly and everything as well. We're not that reckless. Anyway, so this is. I'm going to tell you who this is straight off because this is too exciting. This is Dani King, a cyclist, Olympic gold medalist, as I said before, 3-time world champion. She's got an MBE. Serious stuff, and she's actually going to be talking to us today about women in cycling. Okay. So I think this is a great section. Actually, as we'll talk about later, I think it actually comes really nicely. Comes alongside a particular issue that we have in science as well, and the Athena Swan movement. We'll talk a bit more about that a bit later when we play that section. I think we'll probably roll that on second, actually, because I want to keep you waiting just a bit for it, but not too long, because I want you to hear it. If you're off to work and you have to catch it before work, that's the interview I want you to hear, okay, before you tune out. Right, okay. So I think we should get started because we've got a lot of stuff here. If we've got time, I've also got a little bit of another interview, and this is actually about headaches. But we'll see if we get round to that. Maybe we can play that next time. We'll see. We'll see. Tease you with it. Yeah, so that's with the chief exec of a charity called Migraine Action, or Migraine Action. He says actually, I'm not. I thought it was migraine, but
I thought it was migraine.
But anyway, I think we should probably stand corrected by the CEO of a migraine company. So anyway, chatting with him and also a pharmacist. But this is just teasing you because we might not get time to play that one. More important that we fit in a lot of funky beats as well. In fact, talking about funky beats, I've just realised I've actually got a new backing track, Sam. Just whenever we feel like it.
Yeah.
Should we give that a spin? It's
This is named Funky Beat.
This is named Funky Beat. Yeah. So I was thinking this is kind of cool. Just tell me the background. Just feels smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, yo, Sam, what we going on today, buddy? What you feeling?
Funky.
And how you feeling? How you doing? Boss. Alright, this is Radio 1. We've got loads of really great celebs today. Wait!
This is what they do.
We got Ed Sheeran for the 20 millionth time running. What else have we got?
That's it.
Everybody. No, okay, that's enough of that. Sorry about that. That was silly. Okay, let's start with this scandal that I've been promising you. And then actually during this, I tell you what, Sam, should we do a little bit of chili chopping?
Yeah.
We'll do a bit in the kitchen.
We'll open with the scandal.
We'll open with a scandal.
Well, you're going to have to chop the chilies because I need to listen so I can find out what celebrity it is.
Oh, yeah, sorry, of course. Yes, you do. That is very true. You can join the listeners, actually. I'll be away in the kitchen chopping chilies. I'll try not to get any in my eye.
Don't.
I was cooking with these Komodo dragon. No, I'm not going to talk about that. I'll talk about that later. But anyway,
play the scandal.
Anyway, I got some in my eye. But enough of that. Right. Okay. Anyway, the scandal. Time for the scandal. Extra marks if you can guess or if you know who this celeb is. I'd enjoy. This is a very well. I'm saying guess, but she does say her name in the first probably 1 second. Anyway, have a listen. Well, I'll tell you what you can think about. She reveals what her main position is, TV presenter. I've already told you that, so I'll tell you that now. But anyway, so I guess instead of who she is. See if you can imagine what she's in. Okay, what TV shows she's in. There's one in particular that's been really recent, which is really cool. It's kind of related to what she's talking about here. Right. Anyway, enough from me. I'm going to play this section for you. Scandal, absolute scandal.
I'm Andi Osho. I'm a TV presenter.
Lovely, thank you, Andy. Now, today we've actually got some really interesting research that Admiral have just come out with. Quite a good title for it, I think. The Great Big Motorway Service Station Rip-Off.
That's right.
Yes, if you prefer, actually, I was thinking a better name for it, actually, could be the Sausage Roll Scandal. But I don't know. I don't know what you think about that one.
Yeah, it's snappier. Yeah, we could go with that.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Okay, this is the Sausage Roll Scandal then. So I'll give it a very quick introduction, and then if that's okay, we'll fire away some questions for you about this.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, okay, so according to this new research by Admiral, families across the country this summer are going to actually be ripped off if they're planning to make a motorway pit stop to refuel on food and drink. Because for a family of 4, a typical basket at one of these service stations is going to cost you £30. Whereas in a supermarket, all this is just going to be £6.72 on average. That's quite a big difference. So I guess the first kind of question to ask you then is, given this much higher prices at these little service stations, where are the worst offenders likely to be, in your opinion?
Well, so the average basket that they came up with had some of the typical items that we pick up in service stations. The worst offender was in the southwest, so that was where the basket of food cost £30.44 for that typical basket, which is a huge difference between that and what it would cost you in the supermarket. So I think that's what the concern is, really.
Yes, I mean, and it's particularly relevant for us, of course, being in Cornwall. That actually, this is particularly a thing in the southwest as well, a particular issue down in the southwest.
I mean, I suppose it's a place where a lot of people are travelling for holidays. They've got beautiful places that people are visiting, and so there's obviously a lot of traffic. And I guess the people that run these service stations know that and know that they can sort of hike the prices up. Yes.
Do you think this is kind of how they get away with it more, because it's obviously a lot of holiday makers, so maybe they won't, because it's not their local area, so perhaps they don't notice as much? Do you think that might be one of the reasons?
Well, possibly. And, when you've been on a long trip and that's the only option you have for buying food, then, you're a bit of a captive market, aren't you? They can kind of set the agenda. I mean, they do argue that, some of the inflation of the prices is to do with the fact that, they have to run that whole facility, which, it is a big facility, but still, you're talking sort of, a significant difference between what it would cost you in a supermarket and, what it costs you at their place.
Yes, I guess you're really paying for convenience, I guess, because of course, given this research, it seems much more wise, if you possibly can, to avoid buying goods there and just pop to a supermarket if it's possible. But of course, I guess if you're in the middle of a long drive somewhere, particularly if you're driving on holiday somewhere, probably people don't really want to do that and they just want to get it over with, sort of thing. So maybe they're prepared to pay more for those items. I'm not sure.
Well, that's it. I mean, maybe sometimes people just assume that it's a cost that you have to just put up with as part of, the expense of going on holiday.
Yes, yeah. But so let's ask you this then. So, I mean, what items are likely to be charged the most for? So, I mean, if you did kind of think, okay, well, never mind, I'm still going to go to one of these service stations. But I guess there's probably particular items you can avoid if you want to try and make, the kind of savvy choices in terms of your spend there.
Well, I mean, I guess, the things that people normally go for are the snack foods, and therefore they're the ones that sometimes you see the bigger price increases on. For example, Admiral found that, a sausage roll, a typical sausage roll, costs £2.64 on certain motorways, namely the M4, M74, but it only costs 80p on the M8 in Scotland. Now, and obviously we're not saying go to the M8 to get your sausage rolls, but it just shows you what a difference there is in terms of how things are priced. Whereas I'm sure if you were to go to a supermarket, you could probably get a pack of sausage rolls for the same price.
Yes, this truly is the sausage roll scandal, then. It's quite a fitting title.
You see, you were right in saying that, Ben. You were right.
I'm pleased with that. Well, So I guess apart from kind of perfect person to ask this. So apart from looking out for these particular, so you're saying snack items, of course, are these items which probably best avoided if possible. You can always pop to the supermarket, or as you say, you can just pop straight up to Scotland and bring it back if you like.
Right. That's spending quite a bit of money on petrol, but yes, I see what you're saying.
So, I mean, what else can families do to keep their costs down this summer? I mean, what do you think a good option would be just to try not to shop at service stations and pop yourself to the supermarket, or can you get away with, do you think, a little bit if you're careful?
Well, I think the key is that all these things, like in the many things that we do, it's about, you're offsetting time against money. So if you have the time, and that's the key here, because if you're a busy, working family, you might not have the time to go to the supermarket. But if you do have the time to either go to the supermarket beforehand to buy the food, or even better, which is what my mum used to do in the sort of 80s, is make the food yourself.
Oh, yes.
Much to the annoyance of the kids. Like, we hated the fact that all this stuff was made for us beforehand. But if you do, you're able to feed a family with probably healthier food, to be honest, at a fraction of the cost. But it's down to if you've got the time to do it.
Yeah, so that reminds me of the whole thing, actually. I can remember, whenever asking my parents for food, my mum would always say, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll have a piece of fruit." And no, that's not what I meant. I meant, can we stop some?
Yeah, I mean food. I mean biscuits. I mean crisps. Give me food.
Exactly. I mean sausage rolls.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing as well. It's like also after if you're in the middle of a really long journey, maybe like a 5-hour car ride or something, it's almost like you need to stretch your legs. Anyways,
yes.
You might need a wee. You want a treat, don't you? Yes. You don't want to be sort of tucking into sort of a healthy bowl of couscous necessarily that you prepared the night before. Sometimes it might be a little bit psychological to stop at the service station as much as anything else. Yeah,
it's funny you should say that, actually, because actually thinking about it, I always find myself eating much more unhealthily if I'm doing a long journey. So I'll be quite ready just to get some fast food and won't really think about it. It's almost kind of, I don't know, almost tradition, isn't it? I think people just have to get some, just some cheeky food on their long journeys.
Christmas. Eating crisps at a service station.
Yes, exactly. It can be Christmas every day if you make these long journeys. So, Andi, where can listeners go for more information about this kind of thing, about this kind of research from Admiral, and also how to save money if they're going to be going past these service stations and using them for shopping? Well,
yeah, if they go to admiral.com/sausage roll, they can see loads of information about the difference in all these different products, the difference in price around the country as well. So it makes for fascinating reading, just quite what the difference is in how much you pay for certain items around the country.
Yeah, I mean, right at the beginning when we were talking about it, it's a huge difference. If you first hear this kind of thing, you think, oh, okay, well, of course they're going to be inflated a little bit. But no, I mean, this is talking, threefold or whatever it is, more so even in some cases.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it's a huge. I mean, the big sausage roll scandal that we've been talking about. Yeah. I mean, the difference between those sausage rolls on the M4 and the M8 in Scotland is 236%. Just to give you an idea of like the difference in price between those, those two areas.
Yes. No, it's something to be aware of anyway, so I'm very pleased that you could bring this to our listeners' attention. So, Andi, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure chatting to you.
Great, thanks for having me.
Scandal. Scandalous. What do you think, Sam?
That's an absolute scandal.
It is, isn't it? I think the sausage roll scandal, well, I don't know. All I could think about that interview was thinking at least it isn't the Cornish pasty scandal.
No.
Although it couldn't be the Cornish pasty scandal if it was only in Cornwall, because, of course, only Cornwall can have Cornish pasties, obviously.
It's frustrating that the Southwest is getting messed over again.
I know. Yeah, it's not on. Well, anyway, a massive thanks to Andi Osho for bringing that to our attention.
Thanks so much, because it's good that we can get a celebrity behind such an important scandal. Exactly.
Yes, so thank you, Andi. Yeah, absolutely fantastic chatting to her, actually. Real celeb. She does a lot of cool stuff. Stand-up comedian as well. Definitely check her out. If you haven't come across her work before, actually, just do a quick Google. Just Google Andi Osho, and you'll definitely find some of her work. You may well have actually seen stuff without realising. Super Shoppers, TV show on recently, where essentially the kind of thing that she was talking about there, they kind of do a lot of price comparison work between supermarkets. Really cool stuff. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. Anyway, let's move on then. We've got quite a lot of things to get through. So thank you again to Andi Osho for that. That was absolutely fantastic. Now I did choose a theme tune. Now this theme tune isn't for Andi herself, really. It's about the scandal that she's revealing to us. Okay. So yeah, just I'll pop this on for us. We do need a tune now, I think. to ease you into your morning. And what better song to ease you into your morning than this one? I'm going to put this on. This is all about the sausage roll scandal, I believe.
It was written about the sausage roll scandal.
It was. I believe at the time of recording, I think the singer had just eaten a sausage roll and was just really, really angry that it was so expensive. Anyway, let's put this song on for you now. So thanks to Andi Osho for that interview. Absolutely awesome stuff. Right, tune time.
So scandalous.
You know you wanna sing with us. That's why you know you should be scared of us.
That's my looks to kill. Straight talk, sex appeal.
Tried to buy a sausage roll. It's so damn expensive.
Rough neck all around. Ain't been all over town. Show me how you get down, 'cause we ain't even close yet.
And you got me feeling weak. Listen as I speak, 'cause I'm careful as I creep. You got me going crazy and you know I can't sleep. Now watching your moves and you hypnotize me. You got me feeling like a little baby girl. You're so special, you're like diamonds and pearls. You got me spinning and you got me in a twirl. You're my number one baby and you're bound to rock my world.
You're dangerous, just get it up. The way you move, so scandalous. It's all about the two of us. A one night stand just ain't enough. I need some stimulation, baby. A little conversation, maybe. You got me spinning round like crazy. There goes my baby. Scandalous.
If only I went on Admiral. Take that practice of sausage rolls. Ooh.
Hot stuff, head to toe. Where you go, no one knows. You smile, plenty dough, and we ain't even close yet. Solid as a rock. How many ways can you hit the spot? Show me what you got, 'cause we ain't even close yet.
And you got me feeling weak. Listen as I speak, 'cause I'm careful as I creep. You got me going crazy and you know I can't sleep. Now watching your moves and you hypnotize me. You got me trembling like a little baby girl. You're so special, you're like diamonds and pearls. You got me spinning and you got me in a twirl. You're my number one baby and you're bound to rock my world.
You're dangerous, just get it up. The way you move, so scandalous. It's all about the two of us. A one night stand just ain't enough. I need some stimulation, baby. A little conversation, maybe. You got me spinning round like crazy. There goes my baby. Scandalous, so scandalous. Scandalous, a little conversation goes a long way. Show a little patience that you are here to stay. So show me that your game. You're dangerous, just get it up. The way you move, so scandalous. It's all about the two of us. A one night stand just ain't enough. I need some stimulation, baby. A little conversation, maybe. You got me spinning round like crazy. There goes my baby. Dangerous, just get it up. The way you move, so scandalous. It's all about the two of us. A one night stand just ain't enough. I need some stimulation, baby. A little conversation, maybe. You got me spinning round like crazy. There goes my baby.
You know you wanna sing with us. That's why you know you should be scared of us. You know you wanna sing with us. That's why you know you should be scared of us.
Mystique, absolutely quality tune there. Perfect theme
It's
tune.
nice to hear Alicia Dixon back on our airways.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic track. A perfect theme tune, I think, for that sausage roll scandal that we just revealed to you there with Andi Osho. Absolutely perfect. Right, okay, now then, let's move on. Yes, it's that time. Let's move on. Although, don't be sad. Don't be sad. I know you're thinking, oh no, but I love that interview. How can they possibly follow that one up? Well, got news for you. We can, okay? Because there's more awesome stuff coming up for you. Now, what do you think, Sam? Should we drop a bit of science at this point? Or shall we just, cut straight to one of the most awesome interviews that we've ever done. In fact, probably, no, I can't say it. I take it back at the beginning. I said this was the very best, but I can't really say that, can I? Because Andi Osho was awesome as well.
Why have we used all of our good material in this show, Ben?
No, don't worry. What you're not realising, Sam, is that we have a library of absolute classic stuff. Only a couple of weeks ago, mate, we were listening to my lab tour, my audio lab tour.
Which had such highlights as, this is a fridge.
Yeah, but
this is a freezer.
No, but it was like, they're really big ones to start with, okay? So that's already a bit like, okay, it's a really large fridge. It's kind of cool. I can have a look. But then, on top of that, you've got like the really cool noises. You've got loads of samples in there. Samples which could, potentially kill a man in there. Come on, that's cool.
I'm just saying, it wasn't our best work.
Oh, should have played it in this one, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same standard as that previous one. Do you think? Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
You're not convinced, are you? I've got a lot of stick for that. I tell you what I'm going to do. Next week I'm going to do. I was telling Sam about this. I had a really good idea actually for a follow-up. I'm going to do an office tour next. Do you want a quick preview, mate?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'm just going to come in, so this makes it more natural.
All right, I'll just sort of fill the air so we don't have any dead air.
Yeah, you basically, mate. I tell you what. You pretend to just be someone working away, like maybe mumbling a bit, like working the PC.
I'll just tap away at this PC
right,
and pretend I'm doing stuff.
Okay, excellent. I'll come in and do this this little thing.
God, this is method acting. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting some good work done in here, Ben. He's actually shut the door now. He's. Oh, hi, Ben.
Hello, morning, mates.
Yeah,
well, this is a really exciting office, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. Let me just. It's a shame. If only I had a microphone. Oh, hello. We've got microphones. I tell you what. Let's record some daily action in the office, shall we?
Yep.
Even some headphones. I'll pop those on
They've
just
got it
in
all.
case. Okay, right now. Hello, dear listeners. We have such things as a fan.
A fan, yep. To keep you cool in the summer.
We also have, what else do we have? A laptop. This is where people do a lot of great things. In fact, I actually do compose. I compose poetry, actually, sometimes on this laptop. Yep. Okay, that's probably enough of that, isn't it?
See, Ben, this is why we shouldn't do lab doors.
No, that was merely a mockery of
the last one.
No, that was a mockery of your statement that it wouldn't be amazing. Because it will be. Okay, I tell you what. What about if I did the? No, okay. Enough of that. I was about to find an excuse to play more music, but not quite yet. Come on, let's move on. All right, okay. Actually, Sam, I'm going to let you choose. Okay, we've got this absolutely awesome interview with Dani King, Olympic gold medalist, cyclist. I've got that. Alternatively, though, we could actually drop a bit of science at this point, and we could go for the Tom and Dave chatting about. This is actually quite an interesting thing that they're chatting about, actually. So this was a question that was posed to them, and basically I forced them to debate it. So they were I kind of forced them to take a side in the argument. Otherwise, it would be a bit boring because they both probably agree. And that particular topic that I got them to chat about actually. Was, should we conserve every single species? That's a bit of a strange question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Quite a difficult question to answer. Anyway, the profs take their best shot at that. Obviously, immediately you might think, oh, yeah, of course. But actually, if you start to think about that and a bit deeper, it kind of becomes harder. Not only have you got such things as, well, should we conserve rabies then? I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, more it goes into much more detail than that.
I think we should go for science and sandwich a science between good stuff.
Okay, excellent idea. Sam is here today, which is a very good thing. Otherwise, you probably would be. I tell you what, it would probably be. It would probably be me excitedly putting on all those cool interviews, and then boring people to death at the end with the science bit.
Well, so this is 10 minutes. It's a nice debate.
Okay, let's get this on for you. Don't go anywhere, please. Even if you think this is extremely boring, in which case, please do forward your complaint to Tom Curry and Dave Hoskin. Look them up on Google. Get their email addresses. Send as many complaints as you can. Anyway, no one's texted me yet actually about this. So I asked if anybody had any ideas about who was cooler, Tom or Dave. Okay, so when you're listening to this section, if you get an idea, think, I tell you what, Tom's making some sound arguments. He's cool. He's cooler than Dave. I don't know. It might be the other way around. Whatever you think. Do text me. And let me know because this, I want to know. I can't make my mind up actually. Tom and Dave both extremely. Extremely intelligent men, actually. Very difficult to decide who's cooler. So, help me out. Give me a text on 07860 670 917. That is 07860 670 917. Text me, tell you who you think's cooler. I'm going to reveal it to them. Going to make their day. Well, make one of their days. The other one might be very upset.
Heartbroken.
Anyway, let's play this section. So this is a debate between Dr. Tom Curry and Prof. Dave Hoskin from campus. So expect some really hardcore science now. Okay, let's get started.
Hello, I'm Tom Curry. I'm a senior lecturer in cultural evolution in the biosciences department here.
Excellent, thank you. So the topic for today's discussion is, should we conserve species?
I can start with that if you like. Obviously, conservation's a major concern for the planet at the moment. We're going through one of the great mass extinctions, and what's troubling is the rate of extinction. So we're losing species at a rate that's hitherto not been seen in the fossil record, for example. And we know that everything is connected on the planet. It's the whole point about ecosystems. And if we just start losing things randomly, we don't know what the consequences of that are. But we have a fairly good idea that this is the only planet we've got, and we should be taking care of it. And I don't think we are, and I think that fundamentally underlies why we need to conserve species.
Tom, what do you think about that?
So, of course, we're seeing large amounts of extinction happening at the moment, but we've also seen extinctions happen in the past, and there's a debate about whether we should really should we be conserving species or should we be conserving ecosystems. And so sometimes a lot of effort is put into saving particularly charismatic species. A lot of effort has gone to saving the giant panda or other things like that. But actually it could be that a lot of money and effort is being wasted on saving certain species, which is not maybe the most economic way of doing things. Perhaps we should be looking at conserving ecosystems. And so some of these species, like the giant panda, might be evolutionary dead ends anyway, right? So the panda, for example, subsists on just eating large amounts of bamboo, and maybe without our help it would be going extinct anyway.
So Dave, is your view that we should invariably conserve all species in an ecosystem, or do you argue against that?
I think we should conserve as much as we can, and so Tom at least agrees with the fact that we need to conserve something. Mm-hmm. So it seems that we're all on the same page there. And I think conserve as much as you can, because we just don't know. We don't know what the consequences of extinguishing things are, and we don't know what use those things might be. We haven't even documented most of the biodiversity on the planet. But again, the fundamental bottom line is this is the only planet in the universe that we know of that we can live on. And it seems to me, if you can think about, as an analogy, your own house, just to go around and start cutting wires in your house at random and expect your house to be fine at the end of the day, it's a bit of a shot in the dark, really. And I think we owe it to future generations to make sure that the planet is in a better shape than when we inherited it. So I think conserving as much of everything as we can. And I know the sort of funny argument that comes after that. Oh yes, but what about smallpox? I would argue, why not preserve smallpox as well? Preserve a lot.
But there are certain animals or certain species and things like that actually do people harm. So things like there are diseases and stuff like that. As you mentioned smallpox. So we could actually make our lives better by getting rid of some of these things. But I think also as well, so we say we have to conserve as much as possible, but there are kind of human consequences to conservation efforts. So at the moment, a lot of the time what happens is that people will set up areas of preservation, and they think the best idea is to exclude people from that. But actually there are very few kind of pristine environments that humans haven't been interacting with and making use of in the past. So we should have a more balanced view to conservation, realising we can't save everything. We've got growing populations, we've got people in poor countries who need to maintain or have a certain standard of living that's currently not there at the moment. So perhaps we should be using some land that's kind of currently being used for conservation in order to help improve those people's lives.
So I guess there's two things you covered there, Tom. One is effectively disease, and the other one's poverty. So if I can deal with the second of those things first, the reason we have poverty is pretty much because of resources aren't evenly distributed. So we can get rid of that by, people like us consuming less and allowing other people to consume more. So that would still enable us to have areas of conservation. And to the sort of disease question, there's a heck of a lot of humans, a heck of a lot. Now, this might sound morally abhorrent, but by your argument, what you're saying is that humans have a greater right to life than other things, and I would question that fundamental premise. I think, at some level, everything has an equal right to exist, and as Gandalf says in Lord of the Rings, be careful what you kill. You don't quite know what the consequences are. And I know that's a tricky moral position to take, but it's one that I'd be prepared to have an arm wrestle about.
Yeah, but there are very real consequences for conservation efforts for people, and I think most people, I see where you're coming from, but I think people tend to care about other people more than other animals, and so if put in a situation where you had to save members of your family versus chopping down a forest and killing a whole bunch of different species, which would you choose?
But you pose the question in such a way to make it impossible, right? If it was somebody else's family and a forest, what would I choose? We effectively do that now. And so, just like all societal questions, you have to ask yourself, what brings the greatest good to the most people? That's how society works. That's why I can't walk down the street and punch someone in the nose if I don't like them, right? So, if you start to think about it in that way, I think the answer becomes a bit more clear.
Well, I don't think it is clear. This is why we're debating these issues, and I think you say so. Yeah, we're making decisions, and I think by making decisions to conserve certain areas, by at the moment kind of excluding people from certain places, that's not redistributing resources, that's not helping those people. That's saying we've decided that this area is somewhere where people can't use or people can't go, and you can't continue the kind of the way of life that you've been taking part in for thousands or sometimes tens of thousands of years.
Yeah, but that's because we're only doing half the job, right? If we redistributed wealth and conserved, right? So if you do anything halfways, it's no good. As my granddad used to say, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. So let's do it properly. Let's preserve as much as we can. And the simplest way to do that actually is for us, rich sort of Westerners in the old parlance, if we consumed less, then there'd be more for other people to consume, but there'd also be less pressure on natural environments, other species. So I think we could have it all, but it needs all of us listening to this radio program to say, okay, fair enough, we'll take a cut in the standard of our living, and that's fine.
Yeah. But does it have to be a cut in the standard of living? But I think we're agreed on certain aspects of this. But I think what's missing at the moment in conservation efforts is there's a lot of focus on the biological side of these issues. We need to maintain biodiversity and stuff like that, and the issues relating to people involved in these environments is not being emphasised enough.
But again, so we're arguing about detail, we're not arguing about conservation per se, right? So I think we're agreeing that we do need to conserve stuff. It's a question of how we go about conserving it. And that's what perhaps we're not doing as well as we could.
Yeah. And I think that part of the reason that those debates are happening is because of a view of conservation as just purely preservation, right? Which I think we need to think about conservation as bring back the idea there's the interaction between humans and their environment. Right, that a lot of these, one of the best ways maybe to conserve species is to allow people to manage ecosystems, rather than just say people can't use this stuff.
No, I agree, absolutely agree. And I think part of the problem there is that most of the decision making is done by people that live in cities, that are so far removed from the natural environment that it becomes something that you watch on television, and you forget that there is actually, there's real things going on, that there's real people being affected, there's lives at stake, animals and humans. And until we reconnect with that sort of thinking, then I think it's quite tricky. But I think we're agreeing conservation actually is not a bad thing. It's just that we need to do it properly.
We need to set our priorities and
pursue them relentlessly.
Exactly.
Relentless. Excellent stuff. Well, that was Tom Curry and Dave Hoskins. So thanks, Tom and Dave, for coming on the show. So, of course, you, as I said before, you will all know Dave by now. If you don't, then, well, you're in trouble. Need to have a few words with you. Anyway, Dave's been on the show many times before, chatting with Sasha. This time, of course, that was with Dave and Tom, Dr. Tom Curry. So I hope you enjoyed that. So they were talking a little bit there about, that question, which I guess at first glance it seems fairly obvious what the correct answer is, but and there I should say I did force them to try and take opposing views, so that it made it more interesting, basically, and we got to hear more of people's potential arguments. So the question of should we conserve all species, kind of irrelevant what they are. I think it's quite an interesting one. So I'll leave you with that. If you've got any views on it, do let me know as well. So, either find us on Facebook, message us, however you want to get in touch with us. Let us know. It'd be interesting to hear from you actually as well. What your reaction to that would be about that question. If you were asked, what do you think? Should we conserve every single species? Right, anyway, okay, enough about that for now. We'll be getting Dave and actually I believe Sasha, and Dave and Sasha will be on the show very soon again. Soon, very soon again. Soon, very soon again. Soon, very soon. Soon again, soon. They'll be here. Anyway, I believe it is time to play actually Tom's theme tune this week.
Theme tune.
Now, I wish I didn't have to play this, but it's fair enough. He insisted. He said, Ben, if you play that section without playing my request, there's going to be trouble. There's going to be deep trouble. Deep trouble. You're going to be fired, and that's just a start. That's going to be the start of your woes. Anyway, should we play this section? Sam, what do you
play
think? We're just going to have to play it, aren't we?
I think it's short. Maybe.
Not short enough. All right, well.
This is for you, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, this is for you. Listeners, you're going to recognise this probably as the theme tune from your nightmares. But anyway, play it. Tom, we love you.
Cheeky cars.
Cheeky Tom. God, it's Tom. You know what? I've had enough of that. Sorry. Sorry, Tom. We couldn't quite finish your request. That's enough of that, anyway. But anyway, yes, that doesn't detract from the thanks that we have for you for appearing on the show. We'll kidnap you again at some point, actually. Yes, so thank you again, Dave and Tom, for that debate. Now then, okay, it's time. It is time for the best interview that you'll ever hear.
Second celebrity interview in one show.
That's not even including ourselves as well, is it? It's amazing.
That must be a source record.
It's got to be. Right, anyway, this is Olympic gold medalist Dani King, cyclist. Now, we're thinking about how best to introduce this because, I don't think mere words alone are going to do this. So we thought this might be a good time to try this scorpion chili pepper from Jared. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah.
So I'm only going to have a very small piece of this. So I've been in the kitchen
It's been right
chopping
next to me and it smells hot. It smells really hot.
I'm going to regret it. I just know it.
You go first and then I can sort of keep going if it's a mistake.
Oh,
this one's incredibly juicy.
Oh, even that bit. Oh,
he's just dipped his finger in and tasted it. It was too hot. Go on, just eat that bit. No, eat that bit. Boiling. Eat that bit. Eat that bit, Ben. Ben, you have to eat that bit. That's tiny. Ken.
Honestly, man, trust me. Taste the oil on it.
He's trying to
taste the oil. Trust me, that is absolutely boiling.
Right, that's really hot. But
I'm
the
oil's
the hottest bit. No, eat more than that.
I'm going to start with this. Okay. Oh, it's really hot. It's really hot.
Should I just let you try that?
Oh! No, go on, man. Join me. You know you're tempted. Honestly, don't take a big bit. Oh. Ooh, heck. That's good. That's good good flavour.
Wow.
Good flavour. Good morning, people. Right, okay.
I'd say that's...
Woo.
That tastes hotter than the ghost chili.
Well, this is a big shout out to Jared because this is actually a home-grown chili pepper, I believe. I've got a few of these. That's good. That's a good flavour. Right. Anyway, I need to go through get some water. Actually, right. So I'm going to play this section now. Woo. Okay. This is Dani King, Olympic gold medalist, cyclist. Great, absolutely fantastic lady. Let's get her on right now. Enjoy, listeners. We're going to be drinking water because we're so hyped by this interview. Right, okay, that's enough from me. Hello, Dani. Is that you there? I can hear.
Yeah, hiya.
Hello. Well, I must say I'm quite humbled to be speaking to an Olympic gold medalist with an MBE. So pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And I mean, we're going to be talking today, aren't we, about some stats about actually women in cycling. And I think they're actually, just having a look at them now, they're kind of bittersweet, aren't they? Because actually record numbers of women are taking to the road on their bikes. But actually, despite this, 91%, and that's quite staggering, haven't ever considered turning competitive with their sport. And I think that's quite a worrying number, isn't it? Why do you think that is?
I think it's probably a confidence issue above anything else. I think I've seen about 39% have actually admitted that they don't think they'd be good enough to compete. So I think we need to just push for that confidence build and really encourage women to want to take up competitive cycling because it's such a incredible, even if it's just a hobby thing to get into. You know, you meet a lot of people. It's obviously a great health benefit, and it's fun along the way. So I think we need to kind of get it out there that you are good enough. And I think a lot of people also admit that they exceed all expectations that they had for themselves when they actually take it up.
Yes, absolutely. And I think as well it's kind of true to say that it's coming from a champion yourself. I mean, it's very clear that there really is no reason that women or girls that are cycling should feel any reason at all that they shouldn't turn competitive, because look, of course you can do it, right? Only very few people get to your level, but I mean, that doesn't mean that people shouldn't try, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think it's also really healthy to have a goal. And I think that, for me, really motivates me as a competitive cyclist. I can push myself a lot harder when I'm on the bike, knowing that I've got a race coming up. I've got that competitive sort of instinct in me. And I think that will be the same for anyone. If they've got a challenge to do something, that's going to motivate them to get up and get out on their bikes on a daily basis. I've just started a coaching company, Rowan King, and we see that with our clients, if they've got that goal, they can just push themselves so much further because they know that, it's going to be worth it in the end, and they want to give it their best shot when they get on the start line. Then they know that they've given everything and they can be proud of whatever the outcome of that race is, knowing that they've done their best in training.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think it's moving beyond these particular stats that we've just mentioned as well. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, if you look at, for example, obviously the Tour de France, women's Tour de France, it's always, I think it kind of had a rocky road in the past, hasn't it? And I just see, it's a shame. It's a complete shame because there's absolutely no reason why that should be true, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to be careful with the women's Tour de France. I think it's building year upon year. There's 2 stages this year for La Course, and I think the women's racing has gone from strength to strength. I've really seen that. There's been a lot more races alongside the men's this year with Liège, Bastogne-Liège, Amstel Gold, and I think the Tour is going to develop into something bigger. But I think it needs to be done properly. It can't go from, sort of the criterium around the Champs-Élysées at the end of the men's to a 3-week Grand Tour. I think it needs to be done sort of step by step to make sure that it is run as well and the infrastructure's all there like it is for the men. But yeah, I said yesterday when I kind of tweeted about the women's La Course how I'd love to see it develop into more of a Grand Tour for women. I think that'll be incredible to see.
Absolutely. I mean, coming from a science background, actually myself, we have a really similar issue here as well. There's actually a movement called the Athena Swan movement, where actually we're really trying to encourage girls and women to get into science, because I guess it's similar to this. We just have a major issue where we just have really reduced numbers compared to men of women at the higher levels in science, and it really shouldn't be that way. There's no reason why it should be that way. It really needs to change.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I would really like to talk a little bit about, if it's okay with you. I mean, just how you personally went about becoming an Olympic gold champion. I mean, I think to most people, I think that's going to sound just utterly impossible.
That's a hard question. I was always really into sport as a young child. My dad was a 2-time winter Olympian biathlete. So we were always very active. I was more of a swimmer and runner before I started cycling. And then I got sort of talent scouted, I guess, in my school. I took part in a few testing through British Cycling. I actually did the first one to get out of a maths lesson and managed to get through the testing and invited on a week-long residential camp where I tried all different disciplines of cycling, and I just fell in love with the sport then. Started racing and didn't look back. I think I've always had such a competitive nature. I always try and do things to the best of my ability, and I want to kind of win everything I do, and I think that sort of stood me in good stead for becoming a professional athlete, I guess.
Fantastic, brilliant stuff. And you were mentioning earlier actually that if anyone even has an interest in terms of a hobby for cycling, there's actually health benefits, and it's just an enjoyable thing to get involved with, right? Even if you weren't considering turning it competitive, I imagine it's still just a thing which you should do, regardless of if you're a woman or a man, obviously, just go for it and try it out, I guess.
Oh, massively, yeah. I'd urge anyone to get on their bikes. I think it's such an amazing sport. It's social, you can get out and enjoy the UK's amazing countryside. It's so accessible, all you need is a bike, and yeah, it's just such a fantastic sport to be a part of. There's so many cycling clubs out there. You can meet new people, and like you say, the health benefits are great as well. So yeah, give it a go and you won't look back, that's for sure.
Fantastic. Now I'd really like to finish up, if it's okay with you, Dani, by asking you if you would have any I guess we've already kind of touched on this, but if you'd have any messages for, particularly if there's any women or perhaps girls out there listening to you now, seeing as an inspirational figure, really, what would you say to them if they were considering going for this cycling? I guess any sports, really.
Yeah, I'd urge all women and young girls to try competitive cycling, or just cycling in general. It's such a fantastic sport to be a part of. Obviously, not only the health benefits, you can experience a lot of the UK's amazing countryside. It's really social. You can meet loads of new people. So I'd say to get in touch with your local cycling clubs, see what's out there in terms of the organised rides, if there's any women-only rides, if that's what you feel you'd be more comfortable doing. and go from there. And I can guarantee, once you try it, you'll be hooked and won't look back.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, Dani. It's been a real pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you, you too.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you very much to Dani King there. I must say that was a very humbling experience when I was chatting to a world champion. Not quite sure I'm the most qualified man, actually. I think if I tried to ride a bike, well, not even sure I can, to be honest.
You'd fall off.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to do this bike trail a while ago. Well, actually, not that long ago. With my dad, actually. And I was absolutely destroyed on it.
Yeah.
He was powering ahead, and I was thinking, how am I this unfit? So, yeah, the least qualified man in the world to be talking to an Olympic champion. Yeah. Anyway, Dani, thank you very much.
Cool.
It was super awesome. Really pleased to have touched on that issue there as well, about women in science too, because that's of course very relevant to us being in a science environment ourselves. So yeah, I mean there we have it. This is coming from there's no person in the world more qualified to tell you if you're a woman or a girl out there thinking about cycling. There's no person more qualified to tell you just go for it. That was coming from the words of Dani King, not me. I mean, I can understand if I tried to say something about cycling.
Don't trust anything he says about cycling.
Exactly. Most things, actually, that goes for most things when I'm talking. But anyway, yes. So that was Dani King. Thank you very much, Dani. Also, actually, yeah, I just mentioned, because she did mention very briefly. You might have missed the name. Actually, she's got a coaching. She's got a new coaching company called rowandking.com. So if you just type in rowandking.com if you wanted to check that out. Offer coaching, tutoring, and things like that. I could probably do with that, to be honest. But I'm not sure. Perhaps even Dani might not be able to teach me how to cycle.
No,
I'm that bad.
No, yeah, you're beyond help.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, thanks for the encouragement there, Sam.
No worries. Everyone should get into cycling except Ben.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there.
He's a lost cause. Everyone else.
I'm in agreement. there. Okay, right. Well, we just tried those chili peppers before. That was exceedingly hot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think, what we should do? We should give Jared a call and congratulate him for that.
The thing is, we tried this before, Ben, and he doesn't answer his phone this early in the morning.
I know, but here's the genius part, mate. We'll play his song, right? Because we can play a song anyway. Then we'll try and call him. And if it fails, no one will even know, and then we won't speak of it ever again.
Yeah, we'll just come out and we'll act really natural, like we didn't try.
Yeah, exactly.
Rejection's hard to take.
Exactly. It does hurt. It cuts deep, doesn't it? Now, thinking about a song that's suitable to play after that is quite tough, really. I don't really have any songs awesome enough for Dani. How about we just play our theme tune? Yeah, let's play our theme tune, because that's fantastic, isn't it? I'm going to play this. People, this is very lucky day for you, because you get to hear our theme tune twice in one show. Here it is. Oh, feel that. Right, I'm going to see if we can get through to Jared. Because the great thing is, listeners, we could get him to explain some of his science to us as well.
Yeah.
We'll get through to him. So anyway, I'll try and get hold of him now. I'll leave you with this. Calling. Do we have any luck? It's not looking good, Sam. You were right. It's not looking good. Well, this is what we get. Well, we're just trying to congratulate him for that really hot chili pepper. Alright, well, anyway, maybe we'll try another time. Right, fade that one out. Let's forget that one happened, mate. Let's move on, shall we, sir? Right, okay, sir. Actually, I just realised we did get a message. So earlier we did attempt, we played a little bit of some Cheeky Girls. Just realised we got a message from Bian saying, no, please don't play them. So I can only apologise.
Taken on board.
Exactly. I mean, as we said, we really didn't want to play it in the first place. It was all because of Dr. Tom Curry coming on the show, and he insisted. We played a little bit, and as you will have heard, we did cut that out early because it's just so dreadful.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do completely agree with you there, Bian. simply dreadful, isn't it? Simply dreadful.
Never again.
Music.
Never again.
No, never again.
Ben spent 99p on that.
I'm going to forget that it ever happened. Basically, it's awful. Right. Okay. Anyway, I tell you what I'm going to play then. I'm going to play this little section. All about careers advice from a particular company. Now, just before we do play it, obviously, I want to just remind all of you that, of course, this is just one view. I think it's a very good view because these two special guests in a second are basically just reminding us and reminding any students who are particularly relevant for those picking up the GCSE results today and going on to perhaps going on to do A-levels, or people doing A-levels now. They basically suggest that it's wise to keep your options open. And also, perhaps it is worth considering that you don't have to do a university degree if you didn't want to. Okay, there are other options. So that's basically what they're trying to get across here. Yes, so of course, do go to your careers advice. Use whatever careers advice outlets you possibly can. If there are some at school, I really do urge you to check it out. I mean, it really is worth. I think first of all, well, two things really. I would say, know the vast range of degrees that are on option at universities. Mm-hmm. And don't just feel like, okay, well, I don't really want to do maths. I don't want to do biology. I don't want to do science. Well, just do have a look at what universities actually offer you, because even within science, it's just so broad. I mean, that's the one reason actually I chose biology in the first place, biosciences, was because it was so vastly broad. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have to be studying chemistry. I wouldn't have to be studying biochemistry or cell biology if I didn't want to. There were plenty of options. Forensic science, for instance. Anyway, I'm not trying to talk to you into either way, but I think it's important just to keep an open mind. Look at all of the options you have available to you, and I think that's why this section's interesting. So I'm going to give it a spin now. So I'm going to let the special guests join us right away. Actually, so that's a goodbye from us just for now, and do join us because this isn't the end, actually. All right. Anyway, this is all about apprenticeships and careers advice. So let's put this on for you now.
Good morning. My name's Maggie Stillwell, and I'm Managing Partner for Talent for EY in the UK and Ireland.
Good morning. I'm Jade Garner, and I'm a first-year apprentice at EY, just going into my second year, and I work in the financial services sector of the business.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jade. Well, very warm welcome to both of you, actually. This is really a very timely interview, actually, of course, because we all know probably a lot of parents are probably a little bit worried about it, a lot of students as well, about the upcoming GCSE results day, of course. And actually, we've got Maggie and Jade here from EY, Professional Services Company, actually to talk a little bit about some research which they've done recently about careers advice and actually the concerns and the worries that the parents might have. Because it's quite a startling figure I've got here, that actually it seems that, talking about the parents to start with, actually 3/4 of British parents believe that they didn't receive the correct guidance when they were young to pursue their dream jobs. And actually, half of the parents worry that their level of understanding of the current job market will actually hinder their child's future. So there's a lot of parents here, isn't it? So I guess we'll start with you, Maggie, if this is okay. If you could possibly run us through this in a bit more detail and kind of talk us through this and what you kind of think about this.
Yeah, well, we've launched the parental advice campaign really to try and break this cycle, because we know that children turn to their parents as the number one source of advice when thinking about that decision whether to go to university or whether to do something else. And yet we know those very people are the ones who haven't had that same good advice when they were making those decisions. And of course the world of work is changing so much that even with the best of intentions, parents don't necessarily feel equipped to have a really good quality conversation with their children. So with the launch of the parental campaign, we're hoping that we're giving parents and students the information they need to make better decisions.
Fantastic. Yes, I mean, you touched on it there, talking about this, the fact that it really just seems to be changing so rapidly. I mean, parents definitely can't be blamed for not necessarily being completely up to speed with what's currently going on. Because I mean, now we're talking about careers that range from from a YouTuber to games programmers. These are things which parents are very unlikely to have come across. and in some cases certainly won't have come across when they were younger. So, I mean, thinking about guidance in general, how do you think it's comparing to, let's say 20 years ago to now? Do you think it's actually improving slowly? Is it just the fact that the parents are kind of, do you think it's more that the parents are kind of worried because they see all of these new options and things? But do you think the guidance is still there?
Well, I think that's a really important question, and the thing that really made us launch this campaign is it's not just about the advice, it's about the speed and scale of the change. At EY we talk about the fourth industrial revolution in terms of how much disruption we're going to see in the types of jobs that our children are going to be doing. Some of the jobs that our children are doing haven't even been created yet. And so it's unsurprising that our children are thinking about careers like YouTubing, computer programming, computer game design. That's today's world, when parents are thinking about being teachers and vets and novelists. And I think in the southeast, the children actually do seem to still be thinking about some of the traditional careers like engineering and law. But yes, YouTuber was up there in one of the top 3 for children in the southeast. So definitely something for parents to be thinking, how best can I equip myself and my child to really make an informed decision about a career like that.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, since we're kind of right on topic now, could we talk a little bit about where we could potentially send? So, if parents are kind of tuned into this interview and they're listening to this, and maybe they're thinking, actually this kind of applies to me as well. Have we got any way where we could send parents like this if they want to try and find out more about this?
So we've launched a hub on our careers website, ukcareers.ey.com/parents, where you can find lots of tips from careers experts to help you. We want to start a big conversation, #parental advice. We've got a couple of events coming up in the next quarter, also flagged on the website, which parents can come along to or view indeed online for the panel event that we're having in September. So different ways in which we hope that parents will start feeling more equipped to have great conversations with their kids.
Fantastic. I mean, it's probably easy to think when we first started the interview that actually this was all sounding rather rather grim actually, and lots of people not knowing what to do. But companies such as yourselves, are making the effort actually to go out there and offer advice. So that's fantastic. So I definitely urge any listeners, if they are worried, to check out their website. We'll put it on our page as well, so people can find it there. But I'd like to turn to you now, Jade, if that's okay, because you did. Big congratulations to you, because you did something which I think would actually very brave, and you left school straight after A-levels, didn't you, rather than going to university. But did you think that you received careers advice to this? Were you confident in doing this?
No, it was a really daunting decision at the time. I mean, all of my friends were going to university. My family presumed I would go to university because I'd always done fairly well in school. School was trying to push university upon me. I was kind of fighting a losing battle, really. I kind of had to just step out and make this decision for myself, and it was a really daunting time. I don't feel in many schools the amount of information they give pupils about alternatives has improved, and I think this is something that really needs to change.
Yes.
I mean, apprenticeships are no longer just for, people that want to maybe do plumbing or hairdressing. Whilst those are still there, there's apprenticeships in almost every profession now, and it's important that people understand it.
It's a fantastic point to make, actually, and you were saying about there seems to be this view, and I certainly came across this actually with myself and all of my friends when I was going through the A-level stage, and it kind of is the assumption that people will go to university, and certainly schools do seem to press that, and I guess as you're saying, because alternatives aren't really offered. and I think it's very important to actually understand, the full scale of things which you can do. And as you're saying, apprenticeships. A really good point you just made there about apprenticeships not just being, for things like hairdressing and things like that. It's something to consider, regardless of what you're doing, really, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, a quarter of parents have said there's no option. Their children are going to university, regardless of what they want to do. And I've spoken to so many children at different careers fairs and different events. And I think it's quite sad, really, that they're not given any other option and they feel they just have to do what their parents want them to do simply because their parents don't have the knowledge about the other options available. I mean, I feel if they was aware of some of the careers on offer and some of the amazing experiences their children could obtain, then their opinion would be very different.
Yes, I mean, so what would you say to if imagine a young person is listening to this interview, and perhaps as I'm sure many will be, and I certainly was as well, who would be unsure, if they're unsure about how to go about getting the career they want, or even if they just really have no idea about what career they want. How would you give them some advice, either whether this be how to actually find out about the options available to them, or maybe ways to think about not necessarily going to university. I mean, how would they go around thinking about this and perhaps finding out more information?
I'd say just get as much experience as possible. It doesn't matter whether it's in the career you are planning to get or whether it's in something completely different. Just get as much experience as possible. You can pick up skills along the way from that, and you might find something you love along the way. I'd also say just keep your options open, really. There's no harm in applying to apprenticeships and applying to university. You're better to leave yourself with more options than to limit yourself to one route that you have to follow. The more options you've got, you can make a decision at a later date rather than being confined to one path. Keeping your options open sounds like a very wise thing to do to me. Well, thank you very much, Jade, and thank you to you as well, Maggie. Just before we kind of bring this interview towards a close, would either of you have anything else that you would like to add, actually?
Well, I would just like to echo what Jade has said about apprenticeships. And when we launched our apprenticeship programme at EY, we made the decision that there would be no difference in your career prospects from your graduate peer group. So it's the same career trajectory, the same experiences, the same training and qualification, but actually you're slightly getting ahead of your graduate peer group. Yes. And you're earning a wage, and you're not coming away with student debt of between £45,000 and £50,000, which puts you financially ahead. But it is all about getting the right thing for you. So for some of our joiners, it's absolutely right for them to join at 18. For others, it's right for them to join at 21, 22 when they've got their degree. It's about getting the right fit for your child.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Maggie. Could we perhaps remind the listeners just one final time of the website which you mentioned earlier?
Yes, it's ukcareers.ey.com/parents.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, both of you. Thank you for coming on the show today. So, yes, one final thanks to Maggie and Jade there for coming on the show, giving us some advice about that, about all careers and thinking about what to do after doing your A-levels if you're students currently in that kind of stage. I mean, it's great actually to have someone with a different view on the show, because I personally have always been an advocate for university degrees, but that's only because I think I don't really know about the alternatives.
I also think it's just important not to stop your education after A-levels or before A-levels.
Yes.
If it's through apprenticeships or it's through a degree, either way, I think they're both equally valuable. It's just different paths to different jobs, and I think each are equally valid.
Yes, absolutely. There's some good words there. Yes, I mean, you can go lots of places and get lots of probably conflicting views, but I think the most important thing to do is just get as many views as you possibly can so that you can make your own decision up about it. Right, anyway, that is actually come to the end of the show. I know, I'm so sorry. Really sorry. Sam's starting to sob just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a couple of tears.
It's a shame.
It is sad. Anyway, we're going to leave you with a song. So goodbye from us. Thank you very much to all of our special guests today. And also thank you to the celebs we had earlier as well. We had Andi Osho and of course, Dani King.
All of our guests are celebs, Ben.
That is very true, Sam. That's very true. Even the presenters of the show are also celebs in their own small way. In their own small, non-existent way. Right, anyway, I'll leave you with a song. Sam, any finishing words before we...
Thanks for listening.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I'll echo that. Thanks for listening. Tune in again next time. I'm going to leave you with a song. This is a song which I think you're going to absolutely detest, but just sit through it, because it's worth it.
Were you...
Yeah, it's this one. Don't worry, mate.
Who let the dogs out?